Tampa Bay real estate statistics for January that came out. And Aaron and I were talking about this a little bit before the show, how we felt like January was a little bit, busier than we'd seen in years past. However, the statistics don't necessarily show that. So, Aaron, our businesses may be outperforming the curve a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll laugh a little bit as a understatement.
Yeah, but the interestingly enough, the number of home sales in January this year was 1,371, which compared to last year is a drop of about 6 or 7%, but it's significantly better than every January over the past several years besides last year. Some good news in the local real estate statistics: prices are up from last January. So last January, the average sale price in Tampa Bay was about $135,000. This year, it's about $144,000. So now that doesn't mean that the market's appreciating. That doesn't mean that home values are going to start going up. In fact, that $144,000 is a drop-off of about 7 to 8% from what we saw in the fourth quarter of 2011. We also see the inventory pick up a little bit. We're at 6.7 months of inventory, and average time it takes for a home to sell today is about 107 days. Last but not least, the average home sells for 95% of the asking price. So I wanted to touch on this, and Aaron, I can get your thoughts too. But I'll tell you, I think what I see from the statistics is just more stabilizing, and I think the issue with price, kind of recovering a little bit and that sort of thing, is more a lack of supply. In November, December, and January, you don't see as many listings hit the market, so sometimes that creates kind of a pent-up demand where people will pay a little bit more for a house than if there's more inventory to choose from. But right now, we're just not seeing a ton of inventory hitting the market.
No, and I think those numbers are always a little deceiving because there's so much that happens behind the scenes. You'll get a bank release a flood of REOs onto the market, or a bunch of a lender might let loose a bunch of short sales or whatever. So that number is always for the January to be down from the last January.
It's not that relevant.
No,
I mean,
it's
because
not.
To understand statistics, for it to be considered a valid statistic, you need to see like it repeated over time. So if you're someone who thinks the market's recovering or has recovered, let's see that over a several month period. But I think one of the things that's nice about what I've seen is over the past year to year and a half, we really haven't seen a ton of drop in the average price, and that's and what's interesting behind that, and what you really have to drill down into the data to understand is that it's because the 200,000 and below price point, the market is on fire like it was a few years ago. Yeah. I mean, we've got homes on the market right now with multiple offers, bidding wars happening. But then as you climb the price ladder, it gets really, really difficult. There's not as many people throwing out offers on $1 million homes. So what happens is that you don't have as much activity in the $1 million market, but you have a ton of activity in the 200,000-ish and below price points in certain parts of town. And what it looks like to a lot of people is, oh, the market's back, but it's really not back until it's recovered all the way across the board.
Right, and it starts low. It starts on the low end and bleeds its way up. So
right.
This year you'll probably see that higher end start to move.
It's a domino effect, because the 100 and 200,000 people, when they sell, they go and buy it to 300 or 400, and then when they sell, they go buy them for. So it's interesting because I think the statistics tie into an article from the Trib this week, the economy deflating the number of $1 million homes on the market. And if you've got questions about this topic or anything related to real estate, we'd love to answer them. You can call us toll-free 1-800-969-9352. In Hillsborough, 813-990-9352. Pinellas, 727-461-9352. All of our phone numbers end in 9352. Or WFLA, and we can answer your questions about buying, selling, investing in real estate, mortgages, finance. If it's real estate related, we'd love the opportunity to help. So, and Aaron, we talked about this before. There were less than 100 homes last year in the Greater Tampa Association of Realtors that sold for above $1 million, compared to years past when you had loads of $1 million homes and a market where that segment was very much a strong piece. But what it basically means is that it's just a saturated market. There's still people buying opportunities and looking for bargains. But the article referenced and interviewed Rob Turner, who we had on the show a few weeks back to answer your questions about property taxes. But he was talking about how many $1 million homes there are in the county and where they're saturated at. And what I found interesting is it looks like there's about almost 70% of the $1 million market is in South Tampa.
Yeah.
Which does not surprise me. But I found it kind of interesting. And while those values have dropped just like everyone else, the South Tampa market just seems to kind of outperform. You know, it doesn't depreciate as much. It doesn't, you know, drop as much in value. I mean, it dropped, but the devaluation of the $1 million homes in other parts of Hillsborough County was more significant than it was in South Tampa.
Yeah, and South Tampa, you know, those favorable areas. South Tampa, you're within 5 minutes of everywhere you want to be, so that market is always hot. I'm sure you're going to have those in your downtown Orlando's and Lauderdale's and Miami areas as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. 18 of the county's 20 most valuable single-family homes are in South Tampa. So, again, you know, so lots of celebrities live in South Tampa. It's just always been, you know, a market that has had desire, and it's outperformed the market. But nonetheless, not a lot of $1 million homes selling. I mean, there are some, but they're usually, you know, right now, if you were to broadcast across the entire $1 million market, the majority of those sales are happening in South Tampa, and a lot of them are South Tampa waterfront.
Yeah.
So, and if you're looking for a South Tampa waterfront bargain, you can check out TampaBaySmokingDeals.com. We have some of the best bargains in the South Tampa waterfront market portrayed on our website, where we handpick some of the best bargains in the marketplace.